I'm the star. How can you make a messy ponytail?
Like this.
I'm doing?
Making bunny ears. Okay.
They're rolling off the table.
Do you know which president liked cookies?
What?
You have to guess, or you don't get to eat one.
Donald Trump?
James Madison. He liked cookies.
That makes me happy.
Good.
Here we go.
We're gonna start out with George Washington. Do you know who he is?
That guy?
Yeah, this guy. Okay. He served for 2 terms, which means 8 years. And he showed that not all taxes are bad. He was the very first president of the United States, and he set a lot of traditions. And he loved cherries, and he also loved nuts, and that's why he had very few teeth. So Charlotte's gonna eat some nuts here while we're waiting. What we're doing right now is we made cookies. So James Madison, his favorite food were all kinds of sweets, but he was super picky. So he loved cake, cookies, and especially ice cream, and he's one of the reasons that they brought ice cream to the United States. So, good thing for him. And he served for 2 terms also, and he served during the War of 1812. He was the very first to declare war after the Revolutionary War. He also set a lot of traditions, and his wife Dolly made all of his sweets. She was a super great cook. And yeah, that's why we're making cookies and then bringing them in. The 3rd president was Thomas Jefferson, and he loved macaroni and cheese. And he discovered it on a trip to France. So he is actually, he's giving credit of the act of bringing macaroni and cheese to the United States. At this point, we have Easy Mac and Kraft Mac and Cheese and all that great stuff. And we can thank Thomas Jefferson for that, so go mac and cheese. So what Thomas Jefferson did was he purchased the Louisiana Territory for over $15 million from France, which doubled the states, which was double what it had. He hired Lewis and Clark to explore the territory, and it was a success, some may say, because they got a lot of exploring and mapping, but they didn't exactly hit their target. He also had the Embargo Act, which was a complete ban of trade with other nations, and it was super unpopular because it cost a lot of the Americans' jobs.
John Adams.
John Adams really loved pickles, and he ate them every single day. He created the Navy Department, and he was very unpopular, so he only served for 1 term. He was super upper class, and he had terrible people skills, which did not help him out.
Told you I'm a minion.
James Monroe really liked this local dish. It was called spoon bread, and it had things like cornmeal, water, salt, butter, eggs, milk, and baking powder. So they had lots of stuff in this great thing, and it was actually really popular among the states at the time. He had the Monroe Doctrine, which stated that the nations of the North and the South were not considered to be subjects for any future colonization, which could have changed how the world is today. He had the Military Establishment Act, which reduced the U.S. Army by around 40%. He also had the Missouri Compromise, which was an effort to preserve the balance of power in Senate between slaves and free states. And it was passed in 1820. It admitted Missouri as a slave state and Maine as a free state. For my class project, the 7th president was
Andre Jackson.
Andrew Jackson. So, Andrew Jackson, we couldn't make his food because he loved French cuisine. Andrew Jackson was considered a self-made man. So he was the hero at the Battle of New Orleans in War of 1812 when James Madison was president. He was called the People's President because until the 1820s, only white men who owned property could vote. In the 1820s, voting laws were changed, and then this allowed Jackson to get the common man to vote. He had the Indian Removal Act, which allowed the president to make treaties in which the Native Americans would have to be forced to move west of the Mississippi River, and those Native Americans, or 1/4 of them, died on the journey.
Oh, I have this book at school.
Do you have this book at school?
But it's a book. Big